This same misunderstanding can be seen in the case of the actress Sally Field, daughter of Margaret Field and Richard Dryden Field. In fact, on that hunch, my first hit of an old newspaper article, funny enough, demonstrated the same exact convention as with Suzanne Somers. Within the same article, the journalist's attention meanders, in at first, with the large caption and also title of the article, one sees Fields. Then, right there in the body text, it reads Field correctly. In YouTube videos presenting so-called evidence that it's always been Fields, we get the same short-sighted, biased researching I explained before that satisfies belief agenda. Let's look at a couple of those specific examples and some others. The error either stands alone or is accompanied by the correct spelling, highlighting the aimlessness and irregularity of human blunder. We end up playing this game again, just like with the other examples such as with Berenstain Bears. The error, not supernatural change, is ignored or overlooked. They clearly miss the concurrence evidence in their futile attempt. The big title reads Fields incorrectly, but the body says Fields in this 1978 article. They also go on to show this 1986 article that contains the same blunder. But the would-be investigator, clambering around cherry-picking proof again, misses the fact Field is printed right below the caption photo in the text body. They go as far as to show the DVD cover for the movie Smokey and the Bandit, which featured Sally Field. The back of the DVD cover incorrectly reads Fields in the movie synopsis. This is evidence, supposedly. What's more comical is, while showing that DVD cover, at the bottom of it, below that incorrect spelling, of course, lies the correct spelling, and this is again ignored. Either ignored or the thought doesn't connect. But apart from that, we can get even more official. Once you open your mind, consider reasonable explanations, and think for a second, you'd realize I should check the actual credits that roll at the end of the movie. Not that error couldn't exist there, but it is much more likely that they scrutinized and safeguarded themselves a lot more to ensure proper spelling of names in something like movie credits. So let's take a look. And what do we see? It's the right spelling. Once again, we debunk the shifting reality idea to highlight more mundane, dumb mistakes. If you are wondering about some of her other movies, here you go. From as early as 1979 in the movie Norma Ray, up to even Forrest Gump and Mrs. Doubtfire. Let's look at more simultaneous evidence. In this article from 1989, again the caption contains the error Fields, but the article itself refers to Field. And again here in 1984. The title in this article shows Field, spelt correctly, as are the multiple instances in the text. The photo caption, however, falls prey to oversight, spelled Fields. Going all the way back to 1967, this fault was occurring. The article starts off with the wrong spelling, and below it, one finds an instance of the correct spelling. I mean, look at this, a TV guide showing the movie Absence of Malice at 6 o'clock featuring Sally Field. Then, right below that at 12, Sally Fields stars in Hooper. The blunders are laughable, but certainly not metaphysical. Another article from 1967, the journalists list Sally Field 3 times, and on the 4th time negligently spells it Fields. In 1980, this mistake can clearly be seen in this article. The title reads fields incorrectly, and immediately below that, field. We could go on with this simultaneous evidence. Not only that, there is same chronology simultaneous evidence, of course. Plenty of those articles to be looked at as well. Simultaneous evidence is always an important element because it removes debating over memory first and foremost. Then invalidates simply using contrasting evidence to prove something was a certain way. Instead, we show an underlying behavior, an underlying mechanism of error. The fact they both exist, especially so on the same medium, 100% demonstrates human error. Certainly, we have cast out the asinine notion residual evidence by now, the way it is understood in the Mandela Effect camp. We inject oversight not only in acquiring information, but dispensing and interpreting it. The fact that the Mandela Effect people jump to conclusions and make more mistakes on top of the perpetual mess also strengthens the notion of the human susceptibility to error. The extent to which we will manipulate data and facts just so we can jump up with hysteria to exclaim,
"I have secret knowledge, I have the key,"
is without boundary. It further perpetuates the mass confusion. Since I addressed the mistake some people made by thinking or saying fields, I also want to address those who are now mistakenly asserting that certain other individuals, such as David Letterman, also said fields, when in fact he did not. In this video clip from 1993, many believers purport Letterman says fields, but actually he says Sally Field, and then follows it up with Sally, without pause, calling her to come out on stage. Naturally, the S sound from that follow-up Sally sounds linked to field, so you get Sally Field Sally. I slowed down audio of that clip to demonstrate this.
Sally Field. Sally!
This is what caused confusion in that clip. Further, I also slowed down the end where he mentions her name one more time. It's a bit more masked due to the applause, but you can still make out that he is saying Sally Field.
Sally Field, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back here.
The video of Carson saying fields is moot as far as marking a so-called convergent period of reality change. This is because of the other debunking component, mixed chronology, like we see in articles essentially in all cases. In 1971, about 8 years before the Carson Show appearance, Sally Field appears on the Dick Cavett Show.
Please, Sally Field.
She's not referred to as Sally Fields, but rather Sally Field, the correct spelling. This indicates that Carson, like many others, were misguided or not totally clear on her name, once again leading us to human error. Incidentally, there are no clues of redirects with this case, but then again, Sally Field doesn't use an official website, opting for Facebook instead. Some anonymous entities own both the correctly spelled URL and the incorrectly spelled. Nevertheless, it's all oversight. I don't understand why these people jump to such ridiculous, brand conclusions and leave the most intelligent and simple explanations out. People make mistakes. They want to claim their memory as definitive, then historically show the same error made by others, and that qualifies as proof. That cements it for them that this effect is real in the literal interpretation. Incidentally, here's a thread from 2010 from a forum called The Straight Dope, where they posted about often misspelled names. I'm reading this thread and thinking, wow, these people are so grounded, so level-headed and reasonable. Actually, the thread was even sort of fun to read, seeing the common mistakes. Now I'm thinking, how did this reasonable way of looking at things get away from us? Did some people actually lose their minds after 2010? But these questions are mostly rhetorical, of course. Lunacy has always been a part of human history. It just manifests in different ways. There's nothing supernatural here either. No big mystery, just human error and inadvertence.